Yat e shke do shirene, she analisa rockbridge yelche. Yat e abena. Good morning. Yes, all is good. Hi, I'm Annalisa Rockbridge, and I'm going to be your yoga guide this morning as we are outside this afternoon. Yeah, brunch time. So I hope you have enough time to roll up your mat. I don't have my trusty block with me, so I'm not going to support my knee today. But let's just connect to our breath. So as we root down through our sit bones, take a nice deep breath in through your nose. Feel how the chest rises up. Open your mouth and sigh out all the air. Let's do that again. Nice deep breath in through the nose. Feel how the chest lifts up. Open mouth, sigh, exhale, let it all go. And let's build onto that. Rooting down through the sit bones, lifting up through the chest as we inhale. Maybe spread across the collarbones and let the shoulder heads move away from the ears as you pause at the top of your breath. Open mouth, sigh, exhale, let it all go. Let's do that again. Nice deep breath in through the nose. Pausing at the top of the breath. Open mouth, sigh, exhale, letting everything go. Building onto that breath, continue to root down through your sit bones and rise up through the chest and the sternum. Breathing in deeply through the nose. Pausing at the top of your breath. Maybe finding a little bit of room to sip in a little bit more air. And then open mouth, sigh, exhale, let everything go. And let's root that into our bodies. Nice deep breath in through the nose. Pausing at the top of your breath. Choosing to sip in just a little bit more air. Open mouth, sigh, exhale, let it all go. Very nice. Let's move on to our mats. And let's come onto our backs. Resting on your backs with the back of your head, the occipital bone resting on mats. The shoulders, the scapula is resting on the mat. The spine, the sacrum, nice neutral position. Walk the feet back so they stack directly underneath the knees. Anchor down into your hands, anchor down into your feet. And then lift the sacrum and the spine up off of the mat. Coming into your first Chatpadanga Sarvangasana bridge pose. In this first bridge pose, let's just anchor down into the hands and the feet, feeling how the body is this morning. And then allow yourself to lower down slowly, articulating your spine one vertebrae at a time. Making any adjustments that we need to, making sure that the feet are at hip distance apart and stacking directly underneath the knees. Let's anchor down into the hands and the hips, lifting up the spine and the sacrum into the sky. And without actually moving the feet in space, try to scrub your ankles back towards your shoulders to activate the hamstrings, releasing the gluteus maximus. Continue to draw up through the hip points to the shoulder heads, spreading across the chest. One more breath here. And then when you're ready, allow yourself to lower down slowly. And let's start articulating and moving with our hands. As we inhale, lift the hands up and above with our hips. Allow the arms to float behind you as the hips and the frontal lip points keep going up towards the sky. As you exhale, allowing the hands and the hips to lower down towards the mat. And then let's do that again. As we inhale, push down into the feet and let the arms float up and above your head. Keep pushing down through the heels and driving them back towards the shoulders. And then as you exhale, allowing the hands to float down towards the mat. When you come into this nice neutral spine and neutral pelvis, allow both of their feet to come up towards the sky. Reach through the heels, extending all the way up towards the sky. Anchoring down to the hands and next to your waist. Taking a nice deep breath here. And then as you exhale, allow the right heel to drop down towards the mat. Keep internally rotating that right thigh. So allow all 5 toes to point up towards the sky. Maybe choosing to hover the right foot an inch or 2 off of the mat. And then when you're ready, as you exhale, draw that right heel up into the sky. And then inhale, allow the left heel to drop down towards the sky, the mat. Keep drawing your right heel up towards the sky. internally rotating that left thigh. So draw the left pinky toes towards the right. And then when you're ready, as you exhale, draw both heels back up into the sky. Moving at your own pace and your own breath, never rushing through the pose. Finding length with every inhale. Keep drawing back through your hip and extending through your heel. Exhaling to draw both heels back up into the sky. With an inhale, finding length as you dropping down the opposite heel. Waking up and activating your core muscles this morning. One more time on each side, linking it to your breath. And then when you're ready, allowing both feet to come down towards the mat so that your knees are stacking directly into the sky. Maybe gently pressing onto the tops of your thighs to release the lower back ever so slightly. And then with an inhale, draw both knees into your chest, choosing to interlace either around your shins or behind your knees. Maybe rocking and rolling side to side to give your lower lumbar a massage. And then maybe choosing to rock and roll up the length of your spine to come into a nice tabletop position. So let's roll over into a tabletop position, stacking the hips directly underneath the knees, pushing down into the shins and the top of the feet. Long neutral spine, allowing the shoulders to stack directly underneath the wrist. Coming into a tabletop position. With an inhale, draw your chest and your sternum through your arms. Allow the belly to drop down towards the mat. And then lift your tailbone up into the sky. The gaze can be neutral. As you exhale, draw the chin into the chest, lifting the lower belly into the midline, and then drawing the tailbone down towards the mat into your cat pose. Continue to push down into all 10 fingers to get the biceps to roll forward and the triceps to roll back. Maybe there's a micro bend in the elbows as you draw the chest forward. Belly drops down towards the mat. Maybe your gaze starts to move up towards the sky. As you exhale, pulling the belly button in towards the midline, pushing down into the tops of the feet. Continuing to move into this cat-cow, slowly articulating your vertebrae, your spine one vertebrae at a time. We're looking to find a full anterior tilt of your pelvis and a posterior tilt of your pelvis here. So we're waking up not only your spine, but the pelvis as well. After you have moved through your 2 additional cat and cows, choose to either bring the knees together and the big toes together at the top back of the mat, or take your knees and bring them out to the width of your mat and then sink your hips back onto the tops of your heels as you allow the body and the torso to rest either on top of your thighs or in between your thighs. Let's extend the hands out in front of us and let the ears rest in between the biceps. Continue to push down into all 10 fingers to get your biceps to roll up and your triceps to roll down. Always externally rotating through the shoulder. Allow the shoulder blades, the scapulas, to draw down towards the back. 1 to 2 more breaths here in this extended Balasana, child's pose. Breathing into the upper back ribs and the lower back ribs. When you're ready, let's allow the knees to come in towards each other. Tuck the toes and then lift your hips up and back, coming into your first Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. As you maybe look back at your feet, allow the heels to drop out so they tuck behind your second toe. If the hamstrings are tight this morning, maybe we choose to lift up on the tippy toes, put a deep, generous bend in the knees, and then allow the hips to lift up a little bit higher to find length throughout the spine. Choosing to maybe look up at the hands, maybe taking the hands and turning them out if we're working with tighter shoulders this morning. Pushing down into the mat so that we are externally rotating through the bicep up into the sky and the triceps down towards the mat. 1 to 2 more breaths here in this downward facing dog. Let's walk the hands back to meet the feet, maybe putting a deep, generous bend in the knees so that the hands can come down towards the mat. When you're ready, start to straighten out the legs any amount, allowing the crown of the head to meet the mat. Keep shifting the weight forward into the toes as the hands come onto the hips. With strong legs and a strong spine, let's stand all the way up into the sky. Hi everybody, nice job. So let's walk up to the top of our mat. And let's start to flow. As we step into the top of our mat, choose to either have your feet at hip distance apart. If your lower back is a little bit tender this morning, this might be the safer option. If you're okay and we're working with our body this morning at where it is, allow the big toes to touch and there will be a little sliver of space between the heels. Draw the kneecaps up the legs to activate the hamstrings and the thighs. Draw the tailbone down and then lift the frontal hip points up to meet the shoulders. Draw up through the chest and the sternum, but don't puff out those frontal rib points. Keep drawing the frontal rib points down to meet the hip points and activate a nice strong core. Pick the back of the ribs up off of the waist to grow tall through the sides of the waist. Hands are going to be at the sides of the waist and their fingertips are going to act as if they have little weights on them. So allow the shoulder heads to move down away from the ears. Maybe choosing to set an intention here at the top of your mat for the practice or for the rest of the day. When you're ready, let's take a nice deep breath in, moving the arms forward and above our head. Palms face each other at the top of our head. Pick the back of the ribs up off the waist. As you exhale, hinge over your thighs. Uttanasana, forward fold. Shifting the weight forward into your toes, straightening out your legs any amount. As you inhale, draw the hands underneath the shins and keep shifting the weight forward into your toes. As you exhale, hands come down towards the mat. The right foot steps back and then the left foot steps back. Allow both knees to come down towards the mat. Untuck the toes and then bend the elbows halfway for Chatpadanga Damdasana. Unroll the body onto the top of the mat. Fan out the top of your feet through all 10 toenails onto the mat. Push down into your pubic bone and then draw your hands back next to your ribs. Draw the elbows in towards each other as you push down into the mat to lift your forehead and shoulder heads away from the mat. Vinyasa, baby cobra. As you exhale, forehead comes down towards the mat. Push into your hands to lift up into your neutral tabletop. Push your hips up and back into Adho Mukha Savasana, downward facing dog. Taking 2 to 3 breaths here in your down dog, just recognizing the heat that we're making in the body this morning. The right foot steps up to the right hand, and then the left foot steps up. Inhale, halfway for Ardha Uttanasana. As you exhale, folding back over the thighs. Strong legs, strong spine rides you up into the sky. Utthita Hastasana into Tadasana. As you exhale, hands come into the chest for Samastitihi. Let's do that again. As we inhale, float the arms forward and above. As you exhale, hinge over your thighs, maybe putting a micro bend in the knees. Shifting the weight forward, straightening out the legs for Uttanasana. With an inhale, lift the sternum and the spine, pull the shoulder heads away from the ears, Ardha Uttanasana. As you exhale, the left foot steps back, and then the right foot steps back. You're at the top of a push-up. Shift the forward onto the tops of your toes. Bend your elbows halfway, Chaturanga Damdasana. Keep the pelvis lifted. Flip over the tops of the feet. Pull up through the sternum to the chest. Push down into all 10 fingers to protect your wrist. Spread across the chest and the collarbones. Draw in through the heels for Urdhva Mukha Savasana, upward facing dog. As you exhale, pulling the hips up and back, downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Again, just taking a notice where you're at in this downward facing dog, the amount of energy that you're showing up today on the mat. Looking up at the hands, the left foot steps up and then the right foot steps up. Inhale, come up halfway with the long spine, Ardha Uttanasana. As you exhale, fold back over the thighs. Inhale to stand all the way up into the sky. As you exhale, hands come into the chest, Samasthiti. Let's do that again. As we inhale, float the arms up and above. Exhale to hinge over your thighs, Uttanasana. Shift the weight forward, lift up halfway for Ardha Uttanasana. Keep the gaze straight down at the mat in front of you. As you exhale, either choosing to hop, step, or jump back into your Chatpadanga Damdasana. Choosing your variation of a back bend, so either Bhunjanayasana, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, or skipping it all together and then meeting us in downward facing dog. So we've moved through all three variations of our Vinyasa, choosing which one is best for you. As you look up at your hands, hop, step, or jump to the top of the mat. As you inhale, lift up halfway for Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold back over the thighs. Inhale, stand all the way up into the sky. As you exhale, hands come into the chest, Samasthiti. Very good, you guys. So let's take a nice wide step out to the right or to the left. And then from deep within your hip socket, let's externally rotate that entire right thigh, knee, shin, and foot out 90 degrees. Let's drop this left heel at a sharp 45-degree angle, making sure that we are at a heel to arch alignment. Nice, deep, generous bend in the right knee to stack it directly over the right heel. Extend the hands out, extend over your right thigh, and then allow the right forearm to extend onto or rest onto the right thigh. Left hand pulls straight up into the sky. At the same time, with the inhale, let's all draw that right hip underneath us, and then as we exhale, maybe using that right hand on the right thigh as leverage to turn the belly and the sky, chest up towards the sky. As you inhale, find length by sweeping that left arm past your left ear. Very nice. One more deep breath here. And then cartwheel your hands down to meet the mat. How quietly can you pick up that right foot and step it back, pulling your hips up and back into Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Preparing to step up through the left foot in between your hands, anchoring the right foot at the back of the mat, sealing the back of the mat with the right foot. Let's all pull that right hip in underneath us. Allow the left forearm to come onto the left thigh, and then sweep the right hand up into the sky. Inhale to find length. Maybe sweep that right hand past the right ear, and then as you exhale, continue to get the belly and the chest to rotate up towards the sky. 1 to 2 more breaths here in this Utthita Parsvakonasana. And then when you're ready, allowing the hands to come down towards the mat, how quietly can we shift forward on that right toe, pick up the left foot and step it back into our plank pose, choosing to move it through a vinyasa or skipping it all together and just meeting us in downward facing dog. From down dog, let's look up at our hands. The right foot's going to step in between the hands and the left foot is going to step up so that you're at a sharp heel to heel arch alignment. Let's pull the hips back and extend the right hand forward. Keep pushing down into your right big toe to keep a micro bend in that knee. Right hand lands onto the right shin. Left hand pulls up into the sky for Trikonasana triangle. As you inhale, let's lengthen out to the sides of the waist, maybe by pulling the forehead back. And then as you exhale, again, getting that chest and the belly to move up towards the sky. Instead of collapsing inwards, let's see if we can find length Spread across the chest and the collarbones. Strong legs, strong spine. Rise you up into the sky. And then let's parallel our feet and then externally rotate from left within that left hip socket. Drawing that right heel in to make a nice heel to heel arch alignment. Hands come out to a T. Pull your hips back and reach forward with your left hand. The left hand reaches forward enough to land onto your left shin. Right hand moves up into the sky. Continue to push down into your left big toe so that you maybe put a micro bend into the knee. Strong legs to keep yourself, to keep the left hip pulling back and in. One more breath here, you guys. You're doing fantastic. As you exhale, hands come down towards the mat. How quietly can you pick the left foot back, choosing to move it through your version of a vinyasa or skipping it all together and meeting us in downward facing dog. From down dog, choose a hop step or jump to the top of the mat. With the inhale, rise up halfway with a long spine, Ardha Uttanasana. As you exhale, fold back over the thighs. Inhale to stand all the way up into the sky, Utthita Hasta in Tadasana. As you exhale, hands come into the chest, Samasthitihi. So let's take a nice big wide step out, paralleling your feet and allowing the heels to drop back, allowing the toes to point forward. Hands come onto the hips, draw up to the chest, draw up to the sternum. Nice deep breath. And then as you exhale, hinge over your thighs. Hands come onto the floor, stacking the wrists directly underneath the shoulders. At the same time, we're all going to shift the weight forward into our toes. And then as you exhale, allow the crown of the head to come down towards the mat. Keep shifting the weight forward. If you want to work on your tripod headstand, walk the hands back so that the heel of the hands are in line with the heels of the feet. Draw the elbows in towards each other and then pick the shoulder heads up away from the ears. Continue to shift the weight forward into the toes. Never holding your breath in any pose, but finding your edge and then taking a deep breath in that pose. When you're ready, let's walk the hands forward and inhale, draw up halfway with the long spine. As you exhale, hands come onto the hips and stand all the way up into the sky. Very nice, you guys. Let's heel toe our feet together and then step up to the top of the mat. Again, choosing to have the feet either at hip distance apart to release your lower back, or if you like, the big toes can touch with a sliver of space in between the heels. Let's drop the hips back into the heels. Let's look down at the toes and make sure that we can see them. If you can't see your toes, draw the shins backwards. Sink your hips a little bit lower into your heels. Draw the tailbone down towards the mat. And then lift up to the chest and the sternum. Maybe the arms float up next to the ears. Keep this generous deep bend in the knees. As you exhale, hinge over your thighs. Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale to lift up halfway for a long spine, Ardha Uttanasana. Keep shifting forward, pulling the shoulder heads away from your ears. Choosing to hop step, jump back, moving it through your vinyasa or skipping it all together. From your down dog, step the right foot up to the right thumb. Seal the back of the mat with the left foot. Place your right hand into the right hip and then draw that right hip back. Rise up through the chest and the sternum, Virabhadrasana 1, Warrior 1. Maybe seal your palms at the top of your head and look up at your thumbs. As you exhale, hands come down towards the mat. Step the right foot back. Choose to move it through your vinyasa or skip it all together. As you exhale, pull your hips up back, and without skipping a beat, step that left foot up to that left thumb. Seal the back of the mat with the right foot. Pull the left hip in and rise up through your Virabhadrasana 1, Warrior 1. As you exhale, ride that same breath all the way down through Chaturanga Damdasana. Urachi. There's a little red ant. Meeting us in downward facing dog. Taking 2 to 3 breaths here in your down dog. Recognizing the heat that you're making within your body. Hop, stepping, or jumping to the top of your mat. As you inhale, lift up with the long spine, Ardha Uttanasana. As you exhale, sink your hips into your heels, lift up to the chest and the sternum, Uttanasana chair. As you exhale, straighten out your legs, drop the hands into the chest, Samastitihi. Very good. Let's do that again. Inhale, arms float up and above as you sink the hips into the heels, Uttanasana. Exhale, hinge over your thighs, Uttanasana. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, hop, step, jump back. Choose to move it through your version of a Vinyasa. Right foot steps up without skipping a beat. Left heel seals the back of the mat. Inhale, Virabhadrasana 1. Exhale through a Vinyasa. Inhale for a back bend. Exhale, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Inhale, Virabhadrasana 1 on the left side. Exhale, moving it through your Vinyasa. Pulling the hips up and back, meeting in downward facing dog. Taking 2 to 3 breaths here in your down dog, recognizing the heat that you continue to make with that body. Stepping the opposite leg up or choosing to hop up to the top of your mat. Inhale to lift up halfway, Ardha Uttanasana. As you exhale, fold back over the thighs, sink the hips into the heels, lift the chest and the sternum up into the sky, Uttanasana chair. As you exhale, hands come into the chest, Samastitihi. Very nice, you guys. So at the top of the mat, let's take your feet and put them at hip, maybe just a little bit wider than hip distance apart. Put a nice, deep, generous bend in the knees so that the torso and the chest rests onto the tops of the thighs. Interlace your hands behind you on your lower back and then begin to shift the weight forward into your toes, straightening out the legs any amount that is comfortable to you. With the hands at the lower back, putting a micro bend in the elbows and then choosing to lift the hands up off of the lower back. Keep shifting that weight forward. Pulling the shoulder heads away from the ears. With an exhale, allow the hands to come down towards the lower back. Switch the interlacing of your hands, so maybe skipping it one finger over and then switching the thumb that's on top. Again, shifting the weight forward into the toes, allowing the hips to stack on top of the heels if you can. And then again, maybe a micro bend in the elbows, pull the shoulder heads away from the ears as you lift the hands up into the sky. Tanasana, forward fold. Hands come down towards the mat. Lift the chest up halfway with the long spine. As you exhale, hands come down towards the mat. Step back, pull your hips up and back into Adho Mukha Svanasana. Step the right foot up to the right thumb. Stay onto your left toes and anchor down into your left hand. Lift the right hand up in towards the sky and spread across the chest and the collarbones. At the same time, we're all going to inhale and draw that right hip back. As you exhale, without moving your left hand in space, externally rotate that entire left shoulder. So get your biceps to move forward and your triceps to move back. Continue to inhale here, finding length of the sides of your waist. And then when you're ready, as you exhale, hands come down towards the mat. How quietly can we pick the right foot up and step it back into our Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Stepping that left foot up to the left hand, staying onto the top of the right foot, anchoring down into the right hand to lift that left hand up into the sky. As we inhale, draw that right hip back, and then exhale to get the chest and the belly to move up towards the sky. You're doing wonderful, you guys. Continue to stick with it just a little bit more. Nice deep breaths here to find your length. And then try to get the exhales to meet the inhales. The left hand comes down towards the sky, or towards the mat, sorry. And then step the left foot back. Pull your hips up and back, downward facing dog. Walk the hands back to meet the feet. Inhale, come up halfway with the long spine. As you exhale, fold back over the thighs. Inhale to stand up into the sky, Utthita Hasta into Tadasana. Seal the palms at the top of your head. Look up at your thumbs. Pull the frontal rib points down and draw the tailbone down towards the mat. Exhale, hands come in towards the chest, Samastitihi. Very nice. So let's top of the mat. Let's step the left foot back, making a nice heel to heel arch alignment, pulling that, guiding the right hip back, and then gently guiding that left hip forward. Hands can either be in little fists at the lower back, or you can make prayer hands and then crawl your hands up your back. But don't allow those frontal hip points to pop out. Keep drawing the frontal hip points in and down towards the frontal rib points. Nice long spine. As you exhale, hinge over your right thigh. Once you start feeling the upper back arch, stop there. Pause for a moment, push down into your right big toe, draw the right heel back. With an inhale, lift up halfway. And then as you exhale, just guide yourself down ever so gently. Nice deep breath here. Continue to move to work through it. Inhale. And then as you exhale, push down into your right leg. Let the hands come down next to you. Step the left foot up and then step that right foot back. Choosing to either put the hands at little fist on the lower back or hands are at prayer. Draw the left hip back, right hip forward. Lift up to the chest and the sternum, and then as you exhale, hinge over your left thigh. Inhale to keep drawing that lower belly in towards the sky, and then extending through the chest and the sternum. Exhaling, finding your edge, but not allowing the upper back to round any amount. Strong legs, strong spine, pull you straight up into the sky. Very nice. And let's step that right foot up into the sky. Nice deep breath in. As you inhale, arms float up and above. As you exhale, hinge over your thighs, Uttanasana. Shift the weight forward into the toes. Lift the chest up halfway, Ardha Uttanasana. As you exhale, the left foot steps back. Pull the right hip back. The left hand either moves to the outside of the right foot and the right hand sweeps up into the sky for twisting triangle. Continue to draw that right hip back and spread across the chest and the collarbones. As you exhale, both hands come down towards the mat. How quietly can we step the right foot back, moving it through a version of your Vinyasa or skipping it all together? These are all just offerings up here. From downward facing dog, let's step that left foot up in between the hands. Hop that right foot up so that we're at heel to heel arch alignment. Walk the right hand to the outside of the left foot and then draw that left hand up into the sky. Every side is a little bit different, so maybe on this side your hand is on the inside of your foot. Wherever you are, let's find length by drawing the forehead away from the midline, and then as we exhale, deepen from within the midsection. Never holding your breath in any of these poses. As you exhale, both hands come down to frame the left foot. Step that left foot back, moving it through a vinyasa or skipping it altogether. From your downward facing dog, choose to come down onto your knees and maybe choose to take a child's pose. Walking the hands out to keep them extended so that the shoulder or so that the elbows are up off of the mat. When you're ready, let's allow both of the elbows to come down towards the mat. Draw them in together, so walk them in a little bit closer so that they're in Chaturanga arms. Come up onto your knees, tuck your toes, and then lift your hips up behind you for Dolphin Pose. Walk your hands forward, or walk your feet towards your face. Keep pulling your hips back, looking back at your feet. Maybe you lift the right foot up into the sky. Maybe you lift the left foot up into the sky. Wherever you are, coming down onto the tops of the knees and coming into a child's pose for a rest whenever you need it. If you're a fan of Pincha Mayurasana and you know how to float up into it, I invite you to do that now. And then meeting in Bhavasana in your child's pose. When you're ready, let's come onto our backs. So let's lay onto the back, stacking the feet underneath the knees and then having the feet at hip distance apart. Let's anchor down into the hands, anchor down into the feet, and then lift the pelvis and the spine up off the mat. Draw the right shoulder underneath you and then the left shoulder. Maybe choose to grab the edges of the mat or interlace your hands underneath you. But push down into all 10 fingers or the palms or the little fist so that you can push up through the chest and the sternum and spread across the clavicle. When you're ready, exhale, lowering down into the tops of the wrists, giving them just a micro massage and then releasing your hands completely. Let's do that again, making any adjustments so that the feet are at hip distance apart and the ankles are stacking directly underneath the knees. Maybe this time choosing to interlace your fingers, choosing to interlace your hands one finger over, so the non-habitual way. Trying to scrub the heels of your feet back to meet your hands to activate the hamstrings and release the flesh of the gluteus maximus. When you're ready, start lowering down, articulating your spine one vertebrae at a time. Hands come around the knees, and then let's rock and roll ourselves up into a seated position. Allow the legs to scoot straight out in front of us. Did a bird poop on my mat? Nice deep breath in. Allow the hands to come down towards the waist. And then with an inhale, draw the right knee in towards the chest. Maybe walk the right foot over so that it's in line with the right hip. Let's anchor down into both of our hips and then draw back through that left toe. So dorsal flex the left toes. As you inhale, maybe lift the hands up and above your head. As you exhale, the left hand comes straight behind you as a little kickstand, and then the right elbow is resisting the right knee open. As you inhale, lift up to the chest, lift up to the sternum. As you exhale, allow the chest to spin over and open towards the left. Inhale here to find length, and then exhale to deepen the twist any amount that is comfortable to you. And then when you're ready, as you exhale, unwind to extend both feet out in front of you. With an inhale, drawing that left knee in towards the chest. Find length, the sides of the waist, lifting the hands up into the sky. As you exhale, the right hand comes behind you, the left elbow comes in contact with the left knee. Inhale to find length, exhale to deepen the twist. That's always our mantra. Keep driving through that right heel, pointing all 5 toes up into the sky. It is such a beautiful day, you guys. Okay, so let's exhale, unwind. Extending both feet out in front of you. Inhale, draw the right heel and the right foot in towards the left thigh. Ooh, this is John your Savasana. I'm not going to do this side because you guys know I don't have my block. But allow that right knee to drop down towards the mat. Drive through the left heel and pull the left toes back towards your face. With an inhale, find length to the sides of the waist by picking the back of the ribs up off of the waist. Gently turn towards your left thigh with an exhale and hinge over your left thigh. Interlacing your hands onto the shin, your mat, or around your foot. Maybe allowing the head to drop in between the arms. Inhale to lift up halfway with the long spine. As you exhale, let go of whatever it is you're holding on to and extend both of your legs out in front of you. With an inhale, draw that left foot in towards your right thigh. Left knee drops down towards the mat. Inhale to lift the hands up and above your head. While you exhale, gently turning your torso over towards the right thigh. And then with an exhale, hinging over the right thigh for John your Savasana. Maybe recognizing how your heart rate has completely lowered and our body is starting to cool down. The mind is going to start to wander, and that's completely natural and normal. It just means we're regular humans. As we inhale, draw up halfway with a long spine. Exhale, let go of whatever it is we're holding on to, allowing both feet to come out in front of us, maybe giving them a little shake. And then inhale, arms float up and above our head. Exhale, hinge over both thighs for Tanasana. Interlacing the hands either around the feet, onto the clothes of the shins, or onto the sides of the mat. But wherever you are, honor your body and choice. Find length always to the sides of your waist by pulling your hips back. And then exhale by just folding in just a little bit deeper. If your mind begins to wander to a memory, a thought, or a plan, just recognize it's moved away from your breath. And then together with an inhale, let's lift up halfway with a long spine. And then as we exhale, let go of whatever we're holding on to and come onto our backs. Resting on towards the mat, so allow the back of your head to come onto the mat, the shoulders to rest onto the mat. If you have a little bit of a tender lower back, allow the feet to rest onto the mat so that the knees are pointing straight up into the sky. But if you can, allow the feet to extend out fully out in front of you. Allow the right leg to naturally display out towards the right and the left leg to naturally display out to the left. Both hands are next to you, next to your waist on the mat, so that the palms face up towards the sky. Together, let's take a nice deep breath in through our nose. And then open mouth side, exhale, let it all go. Let's do that again. Nice deep breath in through the nose. And then as you exhale, sink just a little bit deeper into your mat, settling into your final pose of the day, Savasana. Continuing to breathe in the Savasana, allowing your inhales to extend and get a little bit longer, to deepen to meet your exhales. This is an asana, so this is a pose, Savasana, as we rest in this pose, taking a nice deep breath in through the nose, feeling how the ribs spread across the back of the mat, and then exhaling, letting go of all the breath inside of you. Inhale deep here. Maybe sink just a little bit deeper into the mat, feeling how the belly just lowers down towards the midline. Inviting gentle movements back into your body by maybe putting little wrist circles, ankle circles. Rolling over to your favorite side and then letting your hand get heavy and resting onto Mother Earth. Rooting down into Mother Earth with your hand to push down to rise up into Father Sky. Finding a nice seated position, the same way that we started our practice, but this time let's allow the left shin to rest in front of the right. Hands come onto the knees, keeping the left hand rooted onto the left knee. Allow the right hand to come in front of your face. Allow both peace fingers, so the pointer finger and the middle finger, to come in towards the palm, extending your thumb and ring finger out to the sides. Nice deep cleansing breath in through both of the nostrils. Take your right thumb and close the right nostril and exhale all the air through your left nostril. Close your left nostril with your left ring finger. Release your right nostril and take a nice deep breath in through the right nose. Close the right nostril with the right thumb. Release the left nostril with the ring finger and exhale through the left nostril. Close the left nostril with the ring finger. Release the right nostril and inhale through the right nostril. Close off the right nostril with the right thumb. Release the left nostril with the ring finger and exhale through the left side. Close the left nostril, release the right nostril open and inhale through the right side. Close the right nostril and release the left nostril and exhale through the left side. Sealing the left nostril with the left finger, inhale through the right nostril. Seal the right nostril with the right thumb. Release the left nostril with the ring finger and exhale to the left side. Allow both of the hands to come down towards the mat. Take a nice deep breath through both noses. Open mouth side, exhale, let it all go. Gently blink the eyes open if they've closed. Allowing the chin to rest gently towards the chest. recognizing the work that you've done today on the mat. The hardest part was showing up, and you've already done that. The highest light in me sees and honors the highest light in all of you. Ah, yeah.